cardinal. You see it? Beautiful. Beautiful. What is up, Jesus lovers? And welcome back to Epic Journey Through the Bible. For those who are new, I am Pastor Jacob Serns, and every single day I do about a 5-minute video just encouraging people to get in the Bible and to learn more about God. We are right now going through the life of Jesus Christ. So we're looking at Mark chapter 10, and we're looking at specifically here, we're going to jump back to the story of the rich young ruler, where the rich young ruler is having a conversation with Jesus. And we're going to look at 6 ways that you can become a better person. 6 ways you can become a better person. So, recapping the story, the rich young ruler comes to Jesus and he asks him, "Good teacher, what one thing must I do to be saved?" And we looked at last time how, a couple times ago, we looked at how it's really not one thing that saves us. But then Jesus responds by telling him, "Hey, do you know the commandments? Have you kept the law?" And the guy says, "Yes, I've kept them." But Jesus goes through and actually lists 6 of the commandments, or actually I should say 5 of the commandments, and then one other thing that really kind of goes along with the commandments. He goes through and he talks about, do you know the commandments? Honor your mother and father, don't murder, don't steal, don't commit adultery, don't bear false witness. And then he says, don't defraud, which really is almost the same thing as saying don't covet, which is the 10th commandment. So he lists 6 of the 10 commandments. Now it's really interesting which 6 he lists, because the 10 commandments are really, if you're going to summarize the 10 commandments, you could summarize them in really 2 parts. The first 4 commandments are all about our love for God. If we love God, we're not going to have any other gods before him, right? We're not going to take his name in vain, not going to break his Sabbath day, those things. But the last 6 commandments are all about our love for others. And that's what Jesus is referring to here. He lists those last 6 commandments. Hey guys, so sorry for the skip in the video. It is a super hot day outside and my phone is actually overheating as I'm recording these and shutting off the videos. So gonna have to try another day. But to finish off with our thought with the rich young ruler and the 6 ways you can become a better person, we're looking at the last 6 commandments, which shows us that the rich young ruler had an issue in the way he was loving other people. And this happens oftentimes to us as well. So the 5th commandment is, you shall honor your father and mother, that your days may be long in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. So one way that we can become better people is actually by honoring and respecting our parents. Doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say, but to honor them and respect them in the way that we speak to them, in the way that we interact with them, in the way that what we do and what we say. The second way to become a better person is you shall not murder, the 6th commandment. And obviously you're gonna say, wait a second, Jacob, I'm not trying to kill anybody. I was never trying to kill anybody. I never had any interest in killing anybody. But when it says you shall not murder, Jesus says in Matthew 5 that anybody who hates another person, it's the same as if they've committed murder against them. So you hating another person, how can we overcome hatred in our hearts? Well, we need to ask God to help us if we have any hatred towards anyone and help us to love that person instead of hating them. Third way to become a better person, you shall not commit adultery. So what does this mean here? Well, you might say, well, I'm not even married, Jacob, so how am I going to commit adultery? How am I going to cheat on my spouse if I'm not even married? Jesus says if you look at a woman to lust for her, it's like you've committed adultery with her in your heart. So even having lustful thoughts is the same thing as committing adultery and breaking this commandment. So what's the third way to become a better person? To eliminate lustful thoughts. Remove access to lustful temptations. If you have a problem with pornography, remove access to pornography in your life so that you don't have that temptation always right there in front of you. If there's a certain person who you have a flirty relationship with that you know is not appropriate and it's starting to get sexual, remove that from your life. Remove access, and God can help you overcome the lustful thoughts and lustful temptations that Satan is throwing at you. That's the third way to become a better person. Fourth way to become a better person, you shall not steal. And this really comes down to if you're happy for someone having something nice, you're not going to want to steal from them. You're going to be just celebrating the cool thing that they have, and you're going to be happy for them. So really, we could say that for God to help us have an attitude that is of joy for someone else having nice things. And that'll help us to not have the desire to steal. And if we have an urge to steal, we can ask God to help us with that as well. Fifth way to become a better person is the 9th commandment, though you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, which is basically another way of saying lying. You shall not lie. So telling even half-truths, even partial truths, even a white lie. We don't want to say anything that is untrue in any way, shape, or form. So we can ask God to help us to not speak anything that is not true, to not lie. That's the 5th way to become a better person. 6th way to become a better person is the 10th commandment, which Jesus says in this particular story. He says, don't defraud anyone. But it's the same thing as coveting. If you don't covet anything, you're not going to want to defraud anything from anyone. You're not going to want to try to take their stuff. So again, this comes back to attitude. Having an attitude of gratitude, being thankful for what you do have, so that you don't always feel like you need to try to take what somebody else has. An attitude of gratitude can help us go a long ways in our spiritual walk with God. So guys, that's it. Those are the 6 ways to become a better person. Ask God for help. Ask God for strength to help you live by those 6 different ways to become a better person, which are really just the last 6 commandments, which have all to do with our love for others. God bless you guys. Hope this was an encouragement. Hope this is practical, something you can take and use right away. Pray for God to help you follow His way. Peace, love, and the joy of the Lord. God bless you guys. We'll see you next time. Push that like button.